Vietnam and France. 1. Summarize the domestic and international historical background leading to the French invasion and colonization of Vietnam. 1.1 The background of Vietnam before the French invasion, 1858. The economy. Vietnam's economy under the rule of King Tu Duc was so declining and weak, the treasury was exhausted, so the court had to collect high taxes to compensate. People was miserable, natural disasters and flooding occurred frequently. The politics. The King and Mandarins dignified Confucianism, so they were very conservative in absorbing Western scientific and technological advances. The king disliked Western people, so Vietnam limited trading with Western countries. The king suppressed Christianity and killed Western prests and Christian. The court faced around 40 rebellions due to the dissatisfaction. Defense. The army was very backward, was mainly equipped with primitive weapons such as bows and arrows, swords, spears. The amount of guns was very small, each group of 50 soldiers had 5 guns. The fighting spirit of soldiers was not good because of the food shortage. 1.2 The background of world before the French invasion, 1858. European empires like England, France, Spain, Holland, Portugal, Belgium were enhancing, invading and exploiting colonies all around the world to look for resources such as gold, silver, bronze, tin, lead and cheap labor for the Industrial Revolution. Vietnam has the geopolitical position with more than 3,000 kilometers of coastline, located in the busiest shipping route connecting Europe and Asia. Besides, Vietnam is very rich in natural resources, so France was so avid to colonize Vietnam. In 1857, Emperor Napoleon III founded a Vietnam Research Committee including a lot of Far East experts to plan for the invasion of Vietnam. In August 1958, France fired to attack Sun Tra Peninsula, Da Nang, marked the invasion of Vietnam. Until 1884, France had completed the invasion of Vietnam and transferred Vietnam became a colony of France. 2. What did French colonists do in Vietnam and to Vietnamese people? How did the actions affect Vietnamese society and Vietnamese people? Were there any accidentally good things that French colonists did in Vietnam? 2.1 What did French colonists do in Vietnam and to Vietnamese people? The exploitation of resources. In 1885, after occupied Hue capital, French colonists robbed 2.6 tons of gold, 30 tons of silver and transported them to France. French colonists founded a lot of mineral companies throughout Vietnam to mine gold, silver, bronze, tin, lead, coal and 100% of them were transferred to France. French colonists founded farms of coffee and rubber and enforced Vietnamese people to work there in the poor condition, leading to many of them died. All coffee and rubber products were exported and money went into French's pocket. During World War II, French colonists enforced 20,000 Vietnamese men to do military service. The taxes. French implemented a heavy tax policy to collect the most, and that thing impoverished Vietnamese people. The most unreasonable tax was the poll tax, functioning as a flat personal tax on every individual aged from 18 to 60. The economy and society. French landlords, Catholic landlords, and Mandarin accounted for less than 5% of Vietnam's population but owned 70% of the land area. Vietnamese farmers had no land or very little, so they could cultivate, leading misery, and there was a heartbreaking event that the famine of 1945 took the lives of 2 million people. French colonists encouraged Vietnamese people trade and consume opium to collect the tax and reduce the resistance of them. Education. In 1930, total number of students from primary level to university level only accounted for 1.8% Vietnam's population, resulting in about 95% of Vietnam's population being illiterate. 2.2 Were there any accidentally good things that French colonists did in Vietnam? Infrastructure. French built some works and infrastructure that are quite useful for the economic development of Vietnam later as follows. North-South Railway Route. Today it is still used and assessed as one of the most beautiful railway route in the world. Long Bien Bridge, a symbol of Hanoi, Vietnam, attracting a lot of tourists. French School of the Far East, Vietnam National Museum of History, Hanoi Post Office, Hanoi Opera House, St. Joseph's Cathedral, Governor-General of French Indochina Palace, Presidential Palace. The intelligentsia. Some Vietnamese people had opportunity to approach Western advanced thoughts, knowledge, science, technology, resulting in forming the intelligentsia of Vietnam, who played an extremely role in liberating and building Vietnam, such as Ho Chi Minh, medical professor Ton That Tung, Professor Tran Dai Nia, medical professor Tran Hu Tuoc. 3. Briefly present the 1954 Geneva Conference, background, signatories, and provisions. What country decided to divide Vietnam at the 17th parallel? 3.1 Background. Geneva Conference was held on 26 April, 1954 for the purpose of restoring peace in Indochina. The conference happened in the background of France and Democratic Republic of Vietnam was fighting in the key battle of Dien Bien Phu. The Battle of Dien Bien Phu plays an extremely important role to decide who has the advantage on the negotiating table. 3.2 Signatories. 1. Democratic Republic of Vietnam. France recognizes the independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of Vietnam, Laos and Cambodia. Organize free general elections in 3 countries to form a single government for each country. 2. France. France wanted to withdraw from the Indochina War with honor while maintaining its economic interests and cultural influence in Laos, Cambodia, and South Vietnam. France was determined to keep Route 9 Khe Sanh to supply Laos from the East Sea. 3. Cambodia. Wanting to end the war and hold a general election to unify the country. 4. Laos. Wanting to end the war and hold a general election to unify the country. 5. England. England didn't want to be relative to the Indochina War. England supported France on the negotiating table and wanted eliminated Vietnam from the conference and replaced Vietnam by Myanmar being friendly to England. 6. America. America worried about the spread of communist movement in Southeast Asia. America refused to sign the agreement to pave the way for intervening into Vietnam later. 7. Soviet Union. The purpose of Soviet Union was preventing France founds the common European defense community and prevented European countries support American against them. The matters in negotiating about Vietnam, Soviet Union assigned China to handle them. 8. China. Taking advantage of this occasion to underpin its prestige and position in the eyes of European countries and did care about the interests of Vietnam. China wanted to please France and America doesn't support Taiwan against China. 3.3 What country decided to divide Vietnam at the 17th parallel? Vietnam suggested taking 13th parallel as a temporary military demarcation line. However, China urged and enforced Vietnam accepted 17th parallel to please France and America. China provided the wrong information of the Battle of Dien Bien Phu to Soviet Union to make they believed Vietnam would lose. Therefore, Soviet Union also agreed with the plan that was disadvantageous to Vietnam. 4. What country supported Vietnam during the struggle against France? Soviet Union and East European countries. They mainly provided weapons to Vietnam such as anti-aircraft guns, heavy machine guns, rockets, K-54 pistols. China. China provided food, medicine, military uniforms, and military experts to Vietnam. 5. After all, you hate French people because of what they did during their colonization in Vietnam? No, in contrast, I love French people because I believed they also love peace like Vietnamese people. I only dislike French colonial leaders who exploited my country.